Have you ever missed an incredible opportunity with a woman because you didn't realize she was interested? How many times have you been unsure whether or not to make a move and ended up letting the moment pass? Pay close attention to what I'm about to tell you now. A woman's body is like a sophisticated control panel full of lights and indicators that illuminate when the engine of intimacy is warmed up and ready to accelerate. The problem is that most men have never learned to read that panel. You're about to discover the 5 ultra-rare signs her body reveals when she yearns for intimate connection. And no, I'm not talking about those generic tips you find everywhere. This is different. It's profound. Do you know the biggest mistake you make? You expect her to be as direct as you are, but female communication about desire operates on a different frequency. It's subtle, it's elegant, it's a silent dance happening right in front of you, and you don't even notice. Studies show that 93% of attraction-based communication happens nonverbally. This means that while you're paying attention to what she says, you're missing almost everything that truly matters. Have you ever felt that frustration of not knowing if she was into you? That awkward moment when you misinterpreted a sign and created an uncomfortable situation? It's over. Today, that changes. I'm going to give you what took me over 10 years to master. Knowledge that almost no one notices, but that completely transforms your ability to create deep connections. Remember, she wants you to understand. She's sending signals all the time. The problem is, you haven't been trained to pick them up. Let's get straight to what matters. First sign, her eyes become a proximity radar. When a woman yearns for intimacy, her eyes change completely. It's not just about looking at you, it's about how she looks. Pupils involuntarily dilate when we see something we desire. It's biological, impossible to control. But there's more. Her gaze will form a specific triangle. Eyes, mouth, eyes again. This happens in fractions of a second. There was a time I was talking to a woman at a coffee shop. The conversation flowed normally until I noticed this pattern. Her eyes would drop to my mouth every 3 or 4 seconds. When I moved a little closer, she didn't pull back. On the contrary, she leaned her body towards me. Triangular gaze. Does that make sense now? Second sign, the phantom touch that precedes the real touch. Pay attention to this because few apply this insight. Before a woman physically touches you, she makes movements in the air that simulate that touch. She adjusts her hair, exposing her neck. She touches her own arm while talking to you. She plays with objects on the table, slowly and deliberately. It's her body rehearsing what it wants to do with you. A woman who yearns for intimacy creates pretexts to reduce physical distance. She takes your phone to show you something. She adjusts your non-existent crooked collar. She removes imaginary dust from your shoulder. These are touches disguised as casualness. But nothing there is casual. Her body is screaming what her mind is still processing. When this happens, she has already internally decided that she wants proximity. She's just testing your receptiveness. Rehearsed touch. Can you feel the difference? Third sign. Her voice becomes an instrument of seduction. This is pure science. When a woman feels desire, her voice changes frequency. It becomes lower, more paused, more melodic. It's the same mechanism that happens during arousal. The body relaxes, breathing deepens, vocal cords vibrate differently. She starts to speak more slowly. Words come out more carefully. There are strategic pauses that create tension. It's as if each sentence is a verbal caress. And there's the crucial detail. She starts asking personal questions. She wants to know about your fears, your dreams, your experiences. It's not common curiosity. It's her creating emotional intimacy as preparation for physical intimacy. Do you notice when she laughs differently? That more contained, more breathed, almost whispered laugh? It's her body preparing for another type of proximity. Velvet voice. Are you starting to see the pattern? Fourth sign. The calculated vulnerability that disarms defenses. When a woman yearns for intimate connection with you, she starts to reveal things she normally keeps to herself. I'm not talking about deep secrets. It's more subtle. She mentions a silly fear, shares a small insecurity, tells an embarrassing story about herself. This is strategic, even if unconscious. She's creating a safe space of mutual vulnerability. She's saying, without words, that she trusts you enough to let her guard down. And she's inviting you to do the same. Notice how she reacts when you share something personal. If she leans in, maintains intense eye contact, and validates your vulnerability, the desire is present. Vulnerability is the portal to real intimacy. Without it, everything stays on the surface. With it, barriers fall, and deep connection happens. Emotional openness. Do you feel when this happens? Fifth sign, she reverses the game and takes micro-initiatives. This is the clearest and least understood sign. A woman who yearns for intimacy begins to subtly lead the interaction. She suggests changing locations, proposes continuing the conversation in another setting, mentions being free on the weekend, asks about your plans. These are initiatives disguised as casualness. But look, she won't be obvious. Female communication about desire is always indirect. She creates opportunities for you to act, but the veiled initiative is hers. I remember a situation where a woman mentioned 3 times that she loved wine. It wasn't a coincidence. It was a coded invitation to suggest a glass somewhere. When she facilitates the next step, she's saying she wants you to take that step. It's a green light disguised as casual conversation. Subtle initiative. Does that make sense now? Now comes the part nobody talks about. You might be thinking, but isn't this trying to manipulate or force a situation? Wake up, man. Understanding these signs isn't about manipulation. It's about synchronicity. It's about noticing what's already happening and responding appropriately. You're not creating attraction where none exists. You're recognizing when it already exists. The difference between the man who notices these signs and the one who doesn't is brutal. One builds deep, memorable connections. The other keeps wondering why it never works out. Which one do you want to be? Remember the control panel. Every light that comes on is valuable information. Ignoring these signs is like driving in the dark with your headlights off. You now have knowledge that few men possess. An internal radar calibrated to perceive real female desire, not imagined. Pay attention to what happens when you start noticing these signs. Your confidence will change. Your presence will change, and most importantly, your connections will deepen in ways you never imagined possible. There's a golden rule here: never force an interpretation. If you're in doubt, observe more. True signs repeat and intensify. Imagined ones disappear. The dance of bodies in sync is a beautiful thing to watch, and even better to experience. When you understand the language, the music makes sense, and you know exactly when and how to move. But there's a crucial detail I need to tell you. These signs don't work in isolation. It's their combination that creates the symphony of desire. A look alone means nothing. An isolated touch might just be cordiality. But when you see 2, 3, 4 of these signs happening in sequence, my friend, the panel is lit, and the engine is hot. And here's an ultra-rare secret. The more subtle you are in recognizing these signs, the more understood she'll feel without having to verbalize anything. That's what creates that magical feeling of instant connection. She feels that you understand her on a level that goes beyond words. And that is irresistible. Can you imagine what your life would be like if you could read these signs naturally? If every interaction became crystal clear? Go ahead and start paying attention. The intimacy GPS framework I've given you is your compass. Subtle gestures, physical proximity, natural synchronicity, genuine verbal interest, and that subtle green light. Engrave this in your mind now. Because the truth is this: until you master this reading, you'll keep missing incredible opportunities. You'll continue in that frustration of not knowing whether or not to act. And the worst part? She gets frustrated too, because she's sending clear signals in her language, and you're not picking them up. It's like she's shouting on a frequency you can't hear. But now you can. Now you have the decoder. So I guarantee you one thing: use this knowledge wisely. It's not about quantity, it's about quality. It's about creating real connections with women who are genuinely interested in you. When you master this art, you no longer need the cat and mouse game. You no longer need confusing hints. Communication flows, natural and powerful. You become a man who understands women. And believe me, That's rarer than you think. Now tell me, can you remember any recent situation where these signs were present and you didn't notice? I bet you can. Don't blame yourself. You didn't know, but now you do. And knowledge without action is just entertainment. So go out, observe, practice, calibrate your internal radar. Learn to dance on that subtle frequency where female desire expresses itself. I guarantee that when you start noticing these signs, you'll wonder how you lived so long without seeing them. It's like discovering an entire dimension of communication that was always there, but you didn't have the trained eyes to see it. Now you do. The question remains, what will you do with this power? Because yes, understanding female desire is a form of power. It's the power of real connection, the power to create memorable moments, the power to be the man she was waiting to find. But remember, with great power comes great responsibility. Use this insight to create genuine connections, to deepen relationships, to build something real and lasting. The world already has too many men who don't understand women. Be different. Be the man who reads the control panel, who understands the signs, who responds with precision and care, who creates that inexplicable chemistry she'll remember forever. Because in the end, it's not about technique, it's about deep human connection. And that, my friend, that's what everyone is looking for. You've just received the keys to unlock that level of connection. Don't waste this opportunity. Like this video right now, before you forget. Subscribe to the channel for more content that will transform the way you relate to others. And always remember, the control panel is there, lights flashing, indicators active. Now you know how to read it. The question is, will you drive or will you stay parked on the shoulder? The choice is yours.